Greetings and welcome to Night is Coming, a new highly anticipated survival-based builder game where you build and manage a colony, resource gathering and processing, while also protecting yourself against creatures that only grow in numbers as darkness rises. This is a sponsored video by Wild Forest Studio and 101 XP, and I like to show you hands-on gameplay. The game is available starting today, so don't forget to check out the link in the video description to learn more about it. Now, the game offers an extensive tutorial that gets you into the mechanics because it is pretty complex. We're starting, however, with a normal game here, and we're starting with the first map that I have available. That's the Pinewood. Let's get cracking. Alrighty, here we are. Welcome to Riverside, a lovely location for a new city or village, that is, with, well, some 7 souls that are starting with us. Of course, we can grow this number over the course of the game, and we should for sure. Let's have a quick look around on the map. I'm pausing the game right now, which is always great to do, because it gives you a good idea of where resources are. Now, the first thing of action in this game is to build up a small settlement that can protect itself, because this game is all about survival, all about defending yourself against an onslaught of monsters, ghosts and whatnot. For this, we have a bit of a guideline here too, right? We have two mechanics primarily working for us or against us right now. The first one is the Blood Moon. This one here is going to happen in 4 days, and then we are getting some waves of enemies. The other one is the Forest Vengeance. The more we resist the presence of the forest, the more enemies we kill, the higher this vengeance level will be, and that once again also spawns additional creatures that would like to, yeah, well, destroy us, end us in that case. Let's start right away with collecting some materials. So this is a pretty familiar mechanic, right? So we start, basically, we shouldn't collect everything at once because this could overwhelm my people. So I would like to start with those 13 logs over there. We should also find some stone. There it is, 30 stone. And then, well, some straws for basic construction and also some food. Do we have food on this map? There are some mushrooms here, 18 mushrooms, and over there I think I've also seen something, berries, there it is, right? So this is a nice start to get everything going, and my people are gonna start with that. We also have one, well, militia unit in the center of it that we can directly control. So these villagers we cannot directly control, right? They're doing their own thing. They're trying to come and yeah, live their their life. Now in this case we continue with a bit of scouting while this very first harvesting and gathering is starting, and every second in this game really counts. You gotta think carefully how you advance, right? I just hope by advancing now out here we find resources and not an enemy camp. So we gotta be very careful about where we venture outside. We can use the minimap for this. I can also zoom out a bit and we can then see where exactly I am, and I would like to scout around my base at the moment, so we can also queue it in with different commands. There you go. To get a bigger idea, right? A better picture of where we are right now. Also, there's some copper over there. I would also like to start collecting this right away, as copper is rare and pretty important for our construction. Okay, also it is spring right now, so we're starting in a good season. We will need to prepare for winter. And also, it's 9 o'clock in the morning, so things are calm, right? We just started, we just landed here, and they're just gonna do their job here. Doesn't take long for us to get a quest, and we need to establish a settlement around the altar. We can build simple structures from logs, and there are many evil spirits in this forest, and we're not ready to deal with them yet. Find copper and find coal, and this would give me some spirit points. And we already found both of them. Very nice. So let's accept the reward. That also brings us to the spirit altar right here in the center. If this structure goes down, the game is over, right? So this is what we need to protect. We also found some hostile beets, some wild plants. They're gonna chase my warrior, but not for too long. So my warrior just continues now going about his business, right? And yeah, this is what we need to protect, right? This is the most important thing. Let's start also with some basic construction, right? We're still gathering, so we haven't even gathered anything, but we can already start with some constructions. One that's gonna be very important is a campfire. This is where we can find some shelter where my people rest, where they can increase their mood, and where we can also destroy ghosts, right? They don't like the light that much, and ghosts will come at some point. Okay, I think this is a great exploration so far. I mean, these turnips or these beets, they're not very aggressive, right? They're already stopped again. So I'm gonna get my unit here back. Also, wild creatures come in that are not so hostile, but rather useful for us, like a boar. And this one here is going to bring us in some meat. We now chop down some trees, already have some stone, some straws, and we can continue now with our very first constructions then. So it's also the end of the first day almost. I should also continue with some tents. This is where my people can sleep. And these tents we definitely need to protect to some extent, right? Gonna be important. Let's start with some 3 tents here that we can have where people can sleep. Also, we need some kind of storage. I would like to get this going in an industry zone that we can build. So I'm probably going to have my very first industry somewhere over there. So this is where we're going to place some 2 warehouses together with a workbench that will allow us then to process things basically, right? So let's just have this one somewhere here in the center as well, where my people can then start producing something out of this. Another very important building will be the barracks, but not for this day, right? For this day, I really want to start finish my first constructions here, already working on this. And to speed these things up, we can also task priorities, right? We can set them. And I can say, for example, that construction should always be on one of the highest priorities, right? We also have obtaining resources over there. Stone crafting, blacksmithing, carpentry, construction, cooking. If none of that is available, then they can obtain resources, but not before, right? We want to continue with those structures here, and I can always just move it around to set priorities here basically. Farming and hunting should also be a bit higher on the list when these are available. And there you go. Also the first like warehouses, it's stockpiles actually over here where we can store some resources so we don't have to travel around so much. Also what I like is those villagers have their own names, right? Their own life, their own spirit, food, energy, warmth. And we should make sure that all of this is up for it. Okay, more stone is coming in. Now, the resources we see here, they're actually lying around, so we haven't really gathered them yet. There is my workbench, and this is where we can start with some basic crafting now. The first one was the firewood. I'm going to set a minimum of 10 firewood. That means whenever there's not enough, more than 10 in, they are going to produce more by themselves, right? The same goes with the stone blocks. I'm going to set it to 5. So we process some stone that we find, some rocks, and we process them to stone blocks. We're going to need them. And that's it for now, basically, right? These are my most important ones. The firewood we need for the first campfire, and the stone we're going to need for the first buildings then as well. It's a bit late. Some of them are tired already and not feeling so well, but yeah, one is already sleeping. And my single soldier here protects what we have. The very next day, it's actually looking rather friendly today, right? A bit sunny even, and we can use this day to continue with our constructions. The next one is a pretty big building, that's the barracks. Very important that we get this one, as we can train units in the barracks. So let's get this one going somewhere over here. This is going to be a pretty big construction here. And I would also like to get the Sage workshop going. This is going to unlock research for us. Let's also get this one somewhere over here, keeping a bit of a distance there so we can and should also have a bit of a corridor here where my people can still go through, right? Still should have enough space as well for some tents here then that we can have. We can also speed up time. Always a big plus for me. We can see a nice progress here in construction. And my campfire is also burning now. Chief, I found settlements in the forest before. I'm telling you, we need to build barracks. Hire a warrior, and the warrior must not die, alright? We do get spirit and construction materials. On the third day, as construction continues, we can see that some of my citizens are rather, well, tired already. So we have these work modes down here. That's very important part of this game. And for example, right now we have the normal work mode. During times of stress, I can put it up to until exhaustion, so they really push. But right now, let's actually give them some rest so we can activate this. And they're immediately dropping whatever they're doing and just resting. And if I keep this up for 2 hours, we're getting a buff that gives me extra productivity. So this is something we should always use, basically. 2 hours is fine, right? So we're just going to look at the clock here and until 11 o'clock or something like that. I'm just going to keep them resting. And if you rest long enough, there it is, great mode, and we're now working 30% faster. Also, we have finished our barracks and I can now continue or start actually with my training. For now, we have 2 units available here, the swordsman and the militiaman. I would like to go ahead with the swordsman because they have a lot of health, and we already have a militiaman, right? That is doing a bit more damage overall. but the swordsman is just very powerful. Let's train one, and Merca is being trained. No, let's go with the Miloslav because he's got the tough trait, so he should have a bit more. And you can see this, he's got 900 hit points as opposed to Mercer, who's actually really bad with it. So Miloslav is gonna be my first swordsman here. Let's train him. Gonna take some time, and this is permanently consuming one of my villagers. After building also our Sage's Tower, or Sage's Workshop, we have leveled up for the first time. So we have reached settlement level 1, we have started with 0, and that also opens up more buildings now. We have a Carpenter Workshop, we got some stockades here, so a wall, and also a fair that is a place of rest where people can also increase their spirit accumulation. That sounds pretty nice. And the Sage's Workshop also gives me access now to research. There's 2 trees in this game that we have unlocked for now. The first one is the settlements technology. So here we get something like farming and hunting and also better campfires. And then we have the combat or the battle techniques where we can unlock new classes even, new abilities, and also increase the army size for us. However, we need points for this. So we got the spirit points, defense points, technology points. So I need to spend 200 spirit for 1 tech point. Let's go ahead and get this one going. For the defense points, so that's the battle tech, we need dark shards, and we're only getting them out of slaying creatures. Now let's have a look at my settlement tech, and I think for my very first one, because we can now unlock something, I should go for the hunter's hut, right? This unlocks me hunting and increases my food production. We also have the undying campfire, a magical fire that can't be put out even by the rain. That's pretty nice. Dark shard collection is also nice, but it's just a quality of life feature that I really don't need for now. Let's actually go ahead for the undying campfire, because this gives me the ability to build now something. Over there it is, that we can get going, that we can protect ourselves against the spirits. Also, by the way, wait a second. We have a new settler. That was quick. And Berislav, I hope you've got a place for me. Of course. And he's now joining. And with that, we have grown a bit in number. Super sweet. Let's continue with the Carpenter Workshop. Yeah, let's have this also here by my warehouse. So this is another nice construction building or crafting building, and I would also like to increase the size of my tents, or the amount of my tents. So I'm gonna go ahead and have 2 more tents here, so that most of my people can sleep there during night. Also, we have now 2 soldiers, so it might be worth considering taking care of these very hostile beats. There's also a totem over there that we probably can use. Let's go for it. Oh, there's the beats. Just see. We should always have our units engaged in combat, because this basically gives you experience. And we can also use special abilities like that beam from time to time. And here it's really great that we got Miloslav, because he can take a lot of hits, as we can see, and the other one just takes care of them step by step. And with that, we have already slain them. Unfortunately, not a single dark shard coming out of that. I was hoping for it, honestly. Right away, we've also finished our Carpenter Workshop. This is a very important building, because here we can now produce planks or boards, and we are gonna need them for a lot of construction. Let's start with a minimum of 5. It's also gonna consume a lot of my logs. Also, construction material. That sounds a bit ominous, but that's something that we also need really quite a lot. Right now we have 24 in stock, because we get them out of the quest, right? I can increase my limit now to 30. This is consuming me logs again. So whenever we are below that, someone will take care of it. Also, and this is also pretty nice, is we have the wheelbarrow and the sled crafting. With that, my people can transport larger loads. And with this one here, we can transport even bigger loads, right? Let's start with none of them, because I don't have the metal parts for now. So we will need to have this new material then as well. Another very important thing is, since we have leveled up, I think we can already do it. Yes, we can upgrade our spirit altar now to level 2. Requirement is that we leveled up the settlement, right? And this gives my spirit altar more spirit generation, and I think also more hit points. Through all of this, we always need to make sure that we're chopping trees and chopping plants and stuff like that, because you need a lot of them. We can also increase the gathering rate and just prioritize certain aspects of the gathering here, like for example the wood that we have. There's also roads or paths that we can draw, right, to structure our village and also make it easier for people to wander around. But right now my village is rather small, so I'm not gonna do this. What we're gonna do instead is we're gonna start with a fair now as well. So this is something, and I would like to have it, yeah, also somewhere here in the center, close to my campfire, where people can also rest and enjoy some celebrations for, yeah, surviving another day, for example. There's more straws. We do need them actually, so it's also gonna go ahead and increase the priority. We should also probably rest a bit. So let's do this now, get it out of the way. I like that buff that we're getting out of it. So they're gonna rest here now. There's rain. Rain's always douse your campfire, so we need to reburn it, rekindle it after the rain is over. Another settler would like to join. Hooray, that's just great. Mechislav is now part of it. Of course, that always means more mouths to feed, so let's also go ahead now and start with the hunter, I wanted to say, but we actually don't have it yet. Let's have some more plants. I need more food. Straws, we have some. There are 40 berries, that's great, and there's mushrooms. And there it is, our very first blood moon coming in this night. So every few nights, Velimir's forces comb the area and attack survivors. Gotta make sure that we have our warriors ready, and you can also see where the blood moon is coming from, so where the portal is, right? So what we have as an action now, we could attack and take care of it. The problem is I don't have any defenses yet, so I'm not gonna do that. I'd rather just keep my soldiers close by. The villagers flee automatically, so that's not the biggest issue. For my next tech points, we have the spirits, so let's get the tech point number 1, and I'm gonna spend another 300 spirit points right away to also unlock me another point, and with that we get the hunters then, and also deer hunting that I would like to unlock with that. By the way, we are under attack. Night is coming. Blood moon. Has it changed? Ah, there's the attack. We get some revenants. Oh, he's losing a lot of health quickly, so we really need to make sure of him. But he's doing a lot of damage too, and there's our very first dark shard now that we can gather. Nice. Let's also, first of all, let's return, of course, again. They should stick to the center as long as possible. And what I would like to do now is we can use this now, dark shard, for our very first defense point. Let's go ahead and get this one and also invest it into something. The problem with the very first point is I would like to go for my enchanter here because they're super strong and also support allies in battle. However, they need 2 army points, right? And we have no more points. I'm gonna unlock it, and then we need to increase the army size quickly. Okay, there's the next attack coming. Gonna make sure that my tank takes the blows. But they're not stupid, even though they look like it. They're actually targeting him because he takes less hits. What we can do is we can put special abilities on, like praying, and he's now praying for 10 seconds, and after that he gets an increased health regeneration. That is something we need to cap active. We lost someone in enemy's hands. Someone has been trapped by a ghost, it seems. There it is. That's Premisel, one of my settlers. Poor soul. And he's being brought now to a shrine or something like that. So the cool thing is we can see it, right? There it is, a well. And this old well is a monster lair. That's on the map now. And if we destroy it, we can free him. But there's monsters around it. So gotta make sure that we have enough units for this. So we need to wait for the blood moon to go away first. Very next day, it is summer. So the first season is already over. And winter is not that far away anymore. We are also being attacked by hags now, or ghosts on this very day. So they're chasing my villagers and putting them to sleep. They're also draining my spirit. It's a lot of them, honestly, more than I thought. But once the sun is coming up, they should also disappear again. This one is draining us right now of spirit. This one was destroyed in a campfire. So that's why we should also make sure that we have a bunch of these campfires around. Gonna have another one over here. And a man has disappeared. Destroy the old world, rescue the settler, and we get 50 dark shards out of that. Of course we do that. At least I'm gonna try it. Next campfire is ready. This will also consume firewood though, so we gotta make sure that we have enough available. I'm actually gonna have my 2 units here now scouring the map and trying to get to this old well and just see if we can take it down. Got some hit points there. During daytime there shouldn't be a ghost as far as I know. Now I could be mistaken. There most likely will be a ghost here. At the very... yeah, there's the ghost. The thing is we cannot attack the ghost, right? Well, that's a lot of units here. The bad thing about this location is that it's actually within an enemy camp. That's a bad coincidence. Let's try to take care of them, of some of them. Nah, that's too many. Let's retreat. I also don't want to lose anyone right now, so that's that. I'm training my 3rd unit. Once again, it's a melee fighter only. And we're gonna use all 3 of them now to once again go for this attack. So this is someone that has a lot of hit points. He's a dedicated knight. So we got now 2 very strong units and one is rather weak. He's also pretty slow, the one we started with, Barislav. I'm really disappointed in him. There they are again. This is a boss creature, so that's a very hard creature to destroy. Oh, most of them are boss creatures actually. Seems like it. Or we should get them out of here. They're not getting further out. Very nice. There's some additional shards that we get. That's too many though. Let's prayer so they can heal. And then they also can deal more damage. Yeah, this is very problematic for us. I think we are actually losing him. Next day we have a forest vengeance. That means more spirits will now join, try and attack us. This is actually good, right? Because we should be getting lots of stone out of that. Just check it out. There it is. And we get these dark shards. Those are the ones that I like. With that we have 10. Great. And I can now get me 1 more defense point. And I can now spend this on increasing my army size. And this now gives me the opportunity to build or to train me an enchanter. Let's just see if we have a good one. Frail, unremarkable, sensitive to cold. Oh no, we don't have a good one. Unremarkable. At least there's no penalty with him. And there's my enchanter now, also in action. And he's doing a lot of damage, and he's also buffing my units to deal more damage and also take more damage. And look at the damage coming out of this guy. Loving it already. And now we need to make sure that we grind out those dark shards at all times, because we need them for the next attack. Also we get a new settler. Very great, because I'm most likely gonna lose the man in the well because he spawned in a camp. It could also have been that the well is outside of an enemy camp, then we would have easily been able to free him. That's not gonna happen this time. With enough spirits, I would also like to get me another attack point. We have 2 now. One of them will be now my dark shard collection range, so my soldiers can collect more dark shards in the vicinity. Another one is now the farm. Let's go ahead and get this one, and with that we also immediately get the building of the farm. And I think I should build both of them now, so we got the hunter and the farm. Let's just see where we have a bit of space. So this looks like a good location for a farm because it's a bit further outside, and also we have then some space for some fields. And then we have the hunter, and you know what, for the sake of simplicity, let's keep the hunter close. Also here somewhere that is gonna make sure that we can hunt some deer. That's especially gonna be useful during winter. Finally, we have 25 points again, and this is gonna be great because we get a new defense point now, and I can use this to get a defensive tower. And these are pretty nice because they're automatic, right? So I don't need to staff them. They're firing on their own as long as they get construction materials in. And with that, I can ease the demand of units in my settlement significantly. So the first tower I probably would like to have, of course, where could it be? Close to my to my spirit bond, or to my spirit well over there, right? Spirit altar, so that we can make sure that we always have this available there. And in that case, I can upgrade my spirit as well, my spirit well. We still have the vengeful forest, so there's always going to be attack. So I can't get my units away from here right now. That's the primary problem, as the next attack is already coming in again. I can, however, increase construction priority, so they should really go for this now. And There it is, and we have a defensive tower now active. Very important that we get the construction materials always in, right? Because this is the ammunition, more or less, for this to work. And with that, well, what we could try once again some rescue. There's still a wave of enemies coming in. Let's just check it out. How my... Oh no, they're actually attacking my fair. So I still need to have my units close by somehow. So after this wave here, I might try to take care of that bad spirit again. There you go, it's down. There's lots of these dark shards that we can once again collect. And let's get going. And by the way, let's have another defensive tower right over here. So we have one here and then one here. There's always attacks happening in this area too. That's important. By the way, we've also leveled up to level 2 now. Do I still have my point available? I can get another attack point going because now we can unlock the deer hunting. There you go. And this also makes it possible now to automatically hunt deers. And we have finished the farm and the hunter as well. So I'm going to look at them in a second, but I really would like to try out that bad spirit over there. Or we are focusing... I mean, that tower should be done quickly, right? Let's focus on some wood. Let's actually keep the units close by until the construction is completed too. So we have one down here then and one up here. That should be fine. In the meantime, what I can do though is I can go for my hunter now and say deer stock hunting, always have one going. So there's always at least one hunt on the move, right? And once this is finished, always slaughter the deer to make deer carcass butchery, so meat. Basically, that's also set to 1 at least. We can also go for snare hunting for traps and get some hair out of that, right? And then we got our good old farm. And the farm is a bit complicated. The farm has seed options, right? And each one of these seeds is not unlocked permanently, but rather just by numbers, like the beet here, for example. So I can go ahead now and say sow the field for beet. And then for the 16 that we have, push, that's it. This is the amount of field we have right now. I can then use my tag points to get me more seeds of the same type or different type of seeds, right? That are more durable, bring more food, or grow faster. It depends on what you like. And this way is the farming and the hunting now working for me automatically. Obtaining resources and everything above that is priority. I could also, by the way, make the manual priority work, right? And then we can set priorities based on their skills. So that is pretty similar to other base management games, right? And we can always say, so he loves, for example, Merca weaving, and Premisel loves cooking. So we could make him cooking priority number 1, for example, right? And this way we can also further individualize our settlement with all of that. That's pretty neat. I'm keeping it still though automatic for now. The farm is working. We already get the first hunter now. He's on his way. And really, people, finish that tower. It's finished. That was quick. Let's go for rescuing the man in the well. The problem is for this, we need to clear this camp, right? Because I can't get to that well without having done that. So this will be my primary problem, I think. Let's try to slaughter them. There you go. Also give me lots of currency. Trying to stick over here. There's the ghost. And there's my well. Now look at that. That's a lot of enemies quickly. So I need to retreat again. This is not going to be possible because of the enemy camp that we have close by. The tower makes though quick work of any incoming attackers. Great. We got the fires. So far that village is alive and well, right? We could also set up some walls now around the village if I like that, to further protect it. In that case, there would be construction materials that we get going then as well. Plus traps, and that's also pretty neat. Having traps close to these towers, I think this could be quite a bummer for anyone attacking them, right? And it can further increase it. Also, we have increased our settlement limit now, population, because we leveled up. So in this case, we could grow in numbers too. So this is The Night is Coming. The game is available now on Steam. Don't forget to check out the link in the description if you're enjoying this. I very much enjoy it, and we might continue onwards then. Stay tuned.